Welcome back, listeners. Are you ready for another Technically Up podcast? Today, we're tackling something you probably use every single day, but maybe haven't given much thought to. We're talking about OAuth.
OAuth? Yeah.
You know that little magic button that lets you log in with Google or Facebook? Yeah, that's OAuth. Stands for Open Authorization. And it's kind of a big deal. It is, but to really understand what it is and why it matters, we've got our information from a fantastic expert, someone who really knows their stuff when it comes to the ins and outs of OAuth.
Yeah. I read all of his documents, and it is a topic that I'm really passionate about. People should know about this stuff.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is OAuth? What's happening when we click that login with Google button?
Okay, well, in the simplest terms, OAuth is a way for apps to access your data on another platform without you having to give them your actual password.
Right. I've always wondered about that because it just seems a little, I don't know, a little too easy. Like, am I really just giving all my data away?
I totally get it, but that's where OAuth comes in. See, it's all about security. Instead of sharing your password, which is, a big OAuth uses these things called access tokens. They're like temporary keys if you need them.
Temporary keys. Okay, so I give the app a temporary key to my data.
Exactly. And these keys have very specific permissions attached to them. We call them scopes. So you might give an app access to your profile picture, but not your entire contact list. You're in control.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not like I'm giving them a master key to everything, more like just perhaps access to the garage, but not the safe where I keep all the really important and sensitive stuff.
Exactly. It's all about granularity. You choose what you want to share, and OAuth makes sure the app doesn't overstep those boundaries.
That makes me feel a lot better, but I'm still a little fuzzy about how this whole thing actually works. Like, what's the step-by-step process?
Sure. So think of it like this. You're the resource owner, you have the valuable data, and the app, let's call it the client, wants access. But instead of going directly to you for your password, they go through a middleman.
A middleman, okay.
This middleman is called the authorization server. It could be Google, Facebook, or any platform where your data lives. They're like the referee in this whole process.
So Google or Facebook basically vouching for the app, saying, hey, this guy's legit. You can trust him with your data.
Pretty much. The authorization server checks your identity, makes sure you're okay with the app accessing your data, and then issues a temporary access token to the client.
Okay, and that token acts as the key to getting into my data on, let's say, Google servers.
Right. The resource server is where your data is actually stored.
This is fascinating stuff. Now, I was reading up on OAuth and I came across something about different flows. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so there are different ways this whole authorization process can happen, depending on the type of app and the level of security needed. For example, there's the Authorization Code grant flow, which is usually used for web apps. It's a bit more complex, but very secure. Then there's the Implicit grant flow, often used for mobile apps. It's simpler, but maybe a tad less secure.
So is that a concern?
Nope, not at all. OAuth is super flexible.
That makes sense. So tell me, where else are we seeing OAuth in action? I mean, besides the obvious login with the Google scenario.
Oh, it's everywhere. Single sign-on or SSO is definitely the most common, but it's also how apps like, let's say, Slack or Dropbox can talk to each other and share data securely. Even your smart fridge might be using OAuth to connect to the internet.
Ooh, hold on. My smart fridge is using OAuth?
Maybe it's not just about apps and websites anymore. OAuth is becoming the go-to standard for securing pretty much any kind of online interaction.
So if OAuth is the key to all this data sharing, that raises an interesting question. What if the authorization server like Google or Facebook gets hacked?
That's a great question. It's a very real concern. OAuth is only as strong as the weakest link. And in this case, the weakest link could be the authorization server. That's why it's so important to choose reputable providers and Be mindful of the permissions you're granting.
So we still need to be smart about how we use OAuth.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another exciting development in the world of OAuth, and that is decentralized identity.
Decentralized identity. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Imagine a world where you control your own data and choose your own trusted intermediaries instead of relying on big tech companies. Dating's the promise of decentralized identity.
Wow, that sounds like a game changer. So OAuth is evolving too, just like the rest of the digital world.
It has to. As our online lives become more complex and interconnected, so do the security challenges. OAuth will continue to adapt and evolve to meet those challenges.
Well, this has been an amazing discussion. I feel like I've learned so much about OAuth and how it's shaping the way we interact online.
Me too, and I hope our listeners feel empowered to take control of their own data and online security.
Absolutely. The next time you see that login with button, remember there's a whole lot more going on behind the scenes than you might think. Thanks to OAuth, the future of online security is looking brighter. But it leaves me wondering, what other innovations are just around the corner? What new challenges will we face?
Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, it's going to be an interesting ride.
And that's it for our podcast on OAuth. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.
Bye, everyone.
See you next time.